From the BBC World Service, in association with ABC and Akashvani, this is Stumped.
Hello and welcome to Stumped, your intercontinental hit of news, features and debate from the quirky world of cricket. I'm Alison Mitchell in London, just back from Manchester, where I was covering the latest round of the 100 competition, which is coming to a climax with the finals at Lord's on Sunday. And of course, Jim, I just have to mention the fact that the Lionesses couldn't quite roar in that World Cup soccer football final against Spain, but at least they were there. But soccer fever, it hit Australia, and people certainly got behind them here in the UK. So it's been quite a remarkable summer of sport, and it's not over yet.
Yes, Jim Maxwell in Sydney, and really we can only talk about football because this has probably been the biggest sporting event outside an Olympic Games in Australia ever. I mean, more than 7 million people were watching the game the other day between Australia and England. And yes, Australia went down, as we know, and England played the final against the team that everyone thought would finish second. But it's Viva España, and the Queen of Spain was here. We had another Queen in Australia, and a daughter, I think, was here as well. So it has been an extraordinary week or two with these finals being played. And I really can't talk much about cricket at all because if you open the sports pages, there wasn't a mention of it.
I just hope you can in the next 20 minutes, half an hour or so.
And I'm Sunil Gupta for Akashvani in New Delhi, where, of course, our big news is the moon landing. And we've got that rocket on the moon, and that too on the dark side of the moon. And the tropes doing the rounds now. If you remember that old Pink Floyd song, The Dark Side of the Moon, it says, well, the dark side of the moon belongs to us now. So that's the big one doing the rounds. But there is a little bit of cricket, of course, in the news, and that is the Asia Cup coming up. And, of course, the selection of the squad, a lot of back and forth. A couple of people coming back from injury. Jasprit Bumrah has just been playing in Ireland. He's coming back after months and months and months. KL Rahul and Shreyas Iyer, they're also coming back. They're also coming back from injury, from rehab. And they haven't played a competitive game for months. And now you're throwing them in to the Asia Cup. So it's bound to be an interesting Asia Cup. There's going to be a lot of controversy, I think, about what team is selected and whether it is the best team, especially when it comes to the actual selection, because that whole thing about having too many people to select from, especially when it comes to the spinners, no off-spinner in this team. I think perhaps that is not going to hold India in very good stead when you go down and play in the Asia Cup. But, of course, it remains to be seen. And India will be playing Pakistan, so I think that's good.
There will be lots to look forward to, that's for sure. Speaking of space, we're going to speak to somebody who is known for putting in performances that are sometimes out of body, out of this world, certainly. A player with one of the biggest hearts in the game. It's fair to say that we've spoken a lot on this programme about England, particularly in the last year or so, and we've heralded them as the entertainers of Test cricket. But, you know, they're not the only ones who've been thrilling fans with their Red Bull performances. Two of the most thrilling Tests of 2023 have featured New Zealand's men. Now, it does feel like a bit of a long time ago now, but back in February, they beat England by a single run after having been made to follow on in what was a dramatic climax in Wellington. And then just a couple of weeks later, they chased down a nail-biting victory off the final ball of the match against Sri Lanka in Christchurch. And I'm delighted to say that we are joined by a man who is at the heart of both of those wins. He took the last wicket, that of Jimmy Anderson, to beat England, and he scrambled the final run a bye with Kane Williamson for that last gasp win over Sri Lanka. It's Neil Wagner. Neil, it is great to have you on. And how are you, first of all? Because you haven't actually played a match since that game against Sri Lanka because of injury. So how are you going?
Thanks, Alison. Yeah, it's been a bit of a long slog, to be honest. It's the biggest injury I've had in my career, and obviously, I guess the longest recovery time as well. It's taken about 4 or 5 months now to sort of get the body right. And I was sort of aiming our start of our domestic season, which starts 20th of October, and ahead of schedule, which is quite pleasing, and looking forward to it. So coming over to the UK next week to play for Somerset, and really excited by that, and looking forward to, I guess, shaking a bit of dust, and a bit of rust off the rig, I guess.
Definitely looking forward to seeing you over on these shores. But we'll come to the England game in a moment. So let me take you back to the most recent one, that last ball win over Sri Lanka. And if I set the scene, going into that last day, there was rain, wasn't there? Which meant that you needed 257 runs in 52 overs. Sri Lanka needed the last 9 New Zealand wickets. I mean, first of all, how injured and how much pain were you in when you came out to bat to join Kane Williamson for that final day with your back presumably bulging?
Yeah, funny enough, the hamstring was the worst. The bulging disc in my back was pretty bad, and I sort of felt that throughout the season as it went on, but the hamstring was the one that caught me by surprise, and I sort of felt it. And to be honest, it's quite stupid for me. I sort of thought, oh, well, this is my season done and dusted, so sort of saw the rainfall and thought this is going to be the end of it. And I've popped quite a few painkillers at that stage to try and, contribute in some sort of way. So I was living on the painkillers. But we were kicking a soccer ball around in the indoor nets because we thought, okay, well, this is just going to rain out. There's nothing left here. And I sort of thought, oh, this is okay. I'm moving all right. Like, it's a bit of pain, but, yeah, I should be able to, get out there and do something. And funny, a few of the boys sort of, I guess started mocking and giving me a bit of abuse and say, oh, you look like there's nothing wrong with you. What's the problem? You should have been out there bowling. So, yeah, when it got to the point when obviously Sri Lanka sort of, I guess, got a bit of control and bowled quite nicely and the ball sort of nipping around a little bit, they had the field in. Tim Salvi, the captain, looked at me and said, what do you reckon? Do you reckon you can whack a couple, or you reckon you can strap the pads on? And this was when we were only 1 or 2 down. So I was like, oh, yeah, definitely. So I jumped to the occasion, and I think we were only 1 or 2 wickets down, and I had my pads on, and I was pretty excited to get out there. But then when the boys sort of started getting a bit of momentum and scored a couple of runs, all of a sudden the field spread and everyone was on the boundary. Tim said, "Hold fire, because I don't think you're going to be running a lot of twos. So we won't be needing you now." I was quite gutted because I thought, oh, this is... I've been watching the boys in the change room toiling away for 2 days doing I guess a job, and I couldn't contribute. So I thought, oh, this is maybe a way I can just sort of play a bit of a role. And then Tim said, hey, you're nice. Send the other guys in, and started getting closer and closer as it went on. And I remember when I sort of thought at one stage I was not going to get required at all. And when I had to go out, I sort of tried to run out to the middle for various reasons. I just wanted to test it out and see if I could actually run myself and be confident in running if I had to run singles, because I knew the game was obviously pretty tight, but it was also so dark at that stage. And I had glimpses of the test match myself, and Ish Sodhi batted, I think it was 2018 against England, that we saved sort of a test match out in the middle. I had glimpses of that where it got really dark and time got called, and that was the game. So I thought I better get out there because the lights fading very quickly, and some reason the floodlights didn't come on. And until that last ball, the lights came on. It was literally instantly like the darkness sort of disappeared. And I remember trying to run a by the ball before that, and Kane was like, "What are you doing? You should run." And I said, "Mate, then I've got to try and get 1 or 2 runs off the last ball. I think you're the better man to do it. So I'll leave it to you." It was pretty fascinating test to be, awesome test to be a part of.
That's the Sri Lanka test then. Jim, take it away. Let's dive back to Wellington.
So it's 2 to win and 1 for a draw. So just take us through what happens next.
I knew this next one is going to be chest high, and I've got to try and hit some gloves and bring those, I guess, guys with the helmets and stuff like that around the bat into play. Fortunately, lucky enough for me, the way Jimmy tried to play it, he just sort of glanced straight off the middle of the bat, straight to Tom Blundell, and got caught, which was, a very pleasing and satisfying, I guess, end to an amazing test match. And I got a feel for Jimmy then because, being on that side of it, it's never really nice. And that's the niggly part of sport. But, just the character of him to, afterwards, after the test match was a amazing moment. We were all out in the field kicking a soccer ball around, playing pig, and talking, and for Jimmy to come over and have a yarn and be the absolute class gentleman he is a testament to the guys. So like I said, it's the nature of the beast and the niggly thing about sport that is a winner and a loser, and I was just quite lucky and fortunate to be obviously on the right end of it and trying to get a wicket on I guess with 1 run in the bank and being able to get it.
So you played in 2 extraordinary tests, and the fact is the schedule's so complex now because of the amount of white ball cricket, T20 in particular, all that franchise stuff, men and women. So a few thoughts from you about the place of Test cricket now with all this competition.
I think it's just getting better and better, to be honest. Obviously, I've heard a lot of things where people saying, "Oh, these leagues are going to kill Test cricket. Test cricket will die." I think, hopefully the purists of the games, like myself and other people that's out there, still enjoy this format and love this format, and I guess see it as the pinnacle of cricket. But I feel that the World Test Championship has added more emphasis on it. I think it's created that whole feel that, there's a world title to chase, and everyone wants to be, I guess, the best, and it is where you get rated as a cricketer. But to be honest, the way England has played Test cricket has also, I think, got a lot of people involved and following it, going, this is really, really exciting. They've been involved in a lot of exciting Test matches. I mean, taking back to a Test series in England last year when we played those 3 Test matches there, we could have won any of those 3 Test matches too and gone the wrong side of it. But the excitement of that series too, the way they played at Lords, at Trent Bridge, and also at Headingley, after being 57 for 7 or 6, I think it was, and to come back the way they did with Johnny Bairstow and Overton, the partnership they put on, it's exciting cricket. It's awesome to watch, and I think that's just taken Test cricket to another level. And I guess T20 will play a role, personally, I feel, in the way, I guess, guys develop their game and being able to play the shots. I mean, Joe Root playing reverse sweeps and reverse ramps in Test cricket was unheard of. And I mean, seeing a class bowler like Pat Cummins, who's never gone 4 or 5 runs and over, to all of a sudden go 4 or 5 runs and over, it's definitely changed the game a little bit. And you could see that they were sort of looking at different tactics and plans and trying to change things a little bit. So it'll be interesting to see where it goes and how long it will continue. But I think, you can see T20 cricket has developed players to have these different skills to become in, obviously, and bring it into Test cricket, which is pretty awesome. But I also feel to be a quality T20 player, sometimes you need that, I guess, foundation of Test cricket to be able to last and go the test of time. And it shows that those top players have played Test cricket and got that, I guess, behind them.
Hi, Neil. This is Sunil in New Delhi. And let me tell you, I was hearing it from the horse's mouth. My heartbeat was going, so I can imagine what your heartbeat was like when you were playing those 2 Test matches out there in New Zealand. So my question to you is that, as a player, would you rather win a Test match, a resounding win over in 3 days, innings and something, or would you like it personally to go down to that last ball once again? Do you think you could take another last ball Test match?
For the heart and the trying to not have any grey hair, probably better not to. But hey, as a cricket nut and a fan, I guess a lover of Test cricket, there's nothing better. To be a part of something like that, it goes right down to the wire. I think that's what we play this game for. That's the excitement, the hard work you put in over 5 days. Or whatever amount of time it's allotted for you in those 5 days to come down to the wire, to the last wicket, the last run, or the final day. Like I said, my memory goes back to that Test match in Christchurch against England when myself and Ish had to block out. I think it was pretty much a session and a half to try and secure a draw to have our first ever, I guess, Test series win in 30 years or something like that. It was against England. That's the sort of things you remember. That's a pretty special, I guess, moment. And that's the cool thing about Test cricket, is the work you put in. You go to bed and you try and switch off and, park it up, but it's sometimes hard to do. And you go to sleep and wake up a couple of times during the night and knowing there's a day ahead of going out there and grind. And it's pretty tough. You're pretty knackered after a Test match, but to take it over 5 days, that's a special thing.
Neil, thanks so much for sharing all those stories on Stumped. It's been so great to have you on. That is New Zealand Test hero Neil Wagner. Now, after months of doubt due to disagreements over the location, the Men's Asia Cup tournament will finally get underway next week. It was originally given to Pakistan to host, but last year the Secretary of the Board of Control for Cricket in India, Jay Shah, said that it would need to be held at a neutral venue, stating, "We can't go there to Pakistan and they can't come here." Now, you might remember that we had Najam Sethi on the show, the then chairman of the Pakistan Cricket Board, and he said that he had proposed a hybrid hybrid model, with some matches taking place in Pakistan and some in a neutral country. So that is what is happening. 4 matches in Pakistan, 9 will take place in Sri Lanka. Jim, overall, just a relief, isn't it? The tournament is going ahead and no one has had to pull out.
Yes, most important that they are playing. That is very good news. And let's hope it all comes to pass without incident. And for Sri Lanka, it's a tremendous fillip, given that, their economic condition in all areas, not just in the world of cricket, is fairly dire. So they'll be looking forward to hosting those matches and getting a strong response. It's happening. And the only thing that worries me is that there are 13 matches scheduled. Is 13 an unlucky number?
Let's hope not. I hope not.
In Asia?
So I don't know. Is it an unlucky number? What's the reaction been like in India, Sunil? I mean, firstly, huge news that it means India and Pakistan will meet. So overall, are people worried about this compromise of venue?
No, I don't think that's come up at all. I mean, I think, people might have said that we can go across and all, but that's actually been pushed into the background. I think people are very happy that India and Pakistan are going to play. I mean, it's big news. India and Pakistan are the sort of subcontinental Ashes, if you know what I mean. So wherever it happens, there's going to be viewership. There's going to be certainly people at the ground. I think people are going to travel down from different countries to watch that as well. And for Sri Lanka, as Jim was saying, I mean, to have this game there, that's bound to have the stadium full up. Absolutely, no question about it. So I think it's great that the two teams are playing wherever they're playing. And one hopes that obviously things get better and they can play each other at home. But yeah, everybody's happy.
Yeah, of course, there's a World Cup to come as well. How do you reckon India will go in the Asia Cup themselves then? Because they won 2 of the last 3, but they didn't manage to reach the final last time round, and Sri Lanka were the winners.
Well, this is always a tough question, Ali. I mean, going by the resources, India should always win. I mean, you've got more cricket players, you've got more money, you've got more of everything, really. But looking at the history, I mean, and I'm talking about white ball cricket. I mean, India haven't won an ICC tournament. This is ACC, of course, but ICC since 2013, not even the World Test Championship. And in the last month, actually, India losing to the West Indies in a one-day international after a very, very, very long time. So these are portents that are not particularly good. And of course, I mean, the eventual 11 on the field. Now, there's a lot of stuff going on about the team selection. You've got people coming back from injury, KL Rahul and Shreyas Iyer. One of them's picked up a niggle again, but they're still going in the 15 that are going there. And they're talking about, who's going to be the team that's actually going to represent India in the World Cup. And this is supposed to be a trailer or a precursor. And I think that still having that type of, team shuffling, especially guys who haven't played cricket for such a long time, competitive cricket, and then to throw them into the mix in a game, India versus Pakistan, or even India versus Sri Lanka. Let me tell you, Sri Lanka are a very, very good ODI team. So I think it's going to be an acid test. I think if India are able to hold their own, it will hold them in very good stead for the World Cup coming up. But as you said, didn't even reach the final last time. So I think everybody's waiting, watching and seeing, is this new team? Remember, there's a new chairman of selectors, Ajit Agarkar now, who selected this team, along with Rohit Sharma, of course, and the rest of the committee. I think it's all a bit up in the air right now. Is this old team, or rather old meaning the people with experience team, going to win? Because all of them have played a lot of ODI cricket. Or do we really need to break the rules and start thinking of somebody younger and newer? So I think this is really going to be the acid test there.
Well, that was all we've got time for on this week's Stumped, I'll say. Thanks to Jim Maxwell and Sunil Gupta. Big thanks to Neil Wagner for being with us, of course. And we'll see you again same time next week. Bye for now.